if you truly claim to be warriors. Then prove it! Your army was found wanting, foul creature. Have at thee! I can't move! What's going on?
You were foolish to take on the essence of Mjolnir, mortal. The hammer's power is not yours to control. It is mine. Destroy. You do not know the meaning of the word, leader.
Though you would not harm me, would you?
Nay. But my friend might.
He was in the world, and the world was made by him, and the world knew him not. He came unto his own, and his own received him not. If thou sayest, Behold, we knew it not, doth not he that pondereth the heart consider it? And he that keepeth thy soul, doth not he know it? And shall not he render to every man according to his works?
A lot of people, they say, oh, I know this elder, I know this brother, I know this guy, I know this guy. When it comes down to if they know the Lord, which they say with their mouth, but really, in all actuality, they don't know the Lord, and they don't know who truly the Lord sent. And that's why in the scriptures of John, Luke, whenever the Lord's anointed would show up on the scene, they didn't know them, you know? They didn't know them. And same thing's happening today. And that's why when Yahushua was on the cross, when Stephen was getting stoned, they said, what? Father, forgive them, they know not what they do. Meaning they didn't know who they was persecuting, who they was hurting and afflicting. You see? Because the rules of our people had them such a seduced spell. Because a lot of guys are witches and wizards in this truth. And they weren't able to really realize who is truly a servant of the Lord and who wasn't. So it doesn't matter who you know or how much information you have, but what matters is charity and if you have the love of God in you, which only a few truly do. Shalom, all praises, glory, honor, and fear. Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahushai Ba'ashem, Kadash. That belongs to the real, true, sincere elders and apostles, and it citates you elect the true, real house of David. And the thing is about the false brethren and the foolish virgins and the ones of our people that are destroyed for lack of knowledge. They have a form of godliness. They know about this truth. You know, you can have guys that do videos. You know, you can do video every day. You can do live streams until your head turns blue. But if you disregard the Yahushai and you put your camp above Yahushai and you start defending men and carnal men, that's where guys is really going off. And doing the work of the Lord deceitfully, right, is vain, which you're empty and you're dead inside. And this is what's happened to a lot of guys because they're plagued. Because the famous in this truth, the ones that are highly exalted, praised and worshipped of men, the ones underneath them, they make them twofold children of hell in themselves. So they only make matters worse, you see. And this is why the vast majority of our people, of our nation, are under a spell, are under have been hit by the plague of the mind, where they don't have the covering of the Spirit of the Lord, but the covering of men, which that's not gonna cover you from the times that we're coming into. You see that we're coming into times of drought, lack of water, bread, gas prices skyrocketing, prices, extortion. You know, and that's also what's happening with this truth. We're also in a famine of the word, because you see, you can speak this word and, oh, I'm bringing out this precept. Give me that precept. Give me that precept. But what it comes down to is if the Lord is really dwelling in you and you dwelling in him, the Spirit of the Lord. That's why Paul brought out that 1 Corinthians 13, if you know mysteries and prophecies and mysteries and this and all that breakdown, but you don't have charity, you're nothing. And a lot of guys are nothing, man. And that's the truth. And we have become a lot of your enemy because we tell you the truth. Because a lot of you are enemies of the cross. You're enemies of Yahushua. And, you know, which guys never bring out, but we go to the book of John, Luke, Matthew, all the gospel. But it goes into who was crucifying and trying to destroy and wanting to stone Yahushua and the men of the Lord. With what? With the chief elders, the chief priests, the Pharisees and scribes. You know, and they're back here today in their lot. You see, doing the same thing they did back then, which was what? Offending the Lord's little ones. Speaking evil on that which is good. Not understanding judgment, hating the spirit that the true men of the Lord were coming in. Same thing today. There's nothing new under the sun. Proverbs 10:13. In the lips of him that hath understanding, wisdom is found. And the Lord said, you're supposed to examine a matter first before you rebuke. But guys just hear whatever another man says, and then they follow that. They follow their lead. And when they don't have any eye salve, the blind leading the blind, and that's what we're seeing. You see, in the lips of him that hath understanding, wisdom is found. But a rod is for the back of him that is void of understanding. Wise men lay up knowledge, but the mouth of foolish is near destruction. You see, so they're very close to their destruction. Because by your words you'll be justified, by your words could it be condemned. And if you hate the righteous, if you come up against the Lord's men, then guess what? You're going to be swallowed up with Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. Read number 16. There's so many things that a lot of you guys leave out. You leave undone. You see? Or you keep back your sword from blood. You see? But that's where we come in, to fulfill everything, to fulfill the word, to bring it out wholly and sincerely and truthfully and entirely, not holding anything back. That's what Paul said. He didn't hold anything back from you, man. He told everything that needed to be said. Let's go to the book of Acts. Acts 20 and 20. And how I kept back nothing that was profitable unto you, but I've showed you and have taught you publicly from house to house. You see? Testifying to both Jews and also the Greeks, repentance toward God and faith toward our Lord Yahushua Mashiach. And now, behold, I go bound in the spirit unto Jerusalem, not knowing the things that shall befall me there. You know, we walk by faith, not by sight. But a lot of guys, they walk by sight, what they can see and feel and touch. Verse 19, it says, serving the Lord with all humility of mind. See, a lot of guys are proud. And that's why, what happens after pride? Destruction, a fall comes. And that's what time we're coming into. And that's why they really fighting against us. But see, they like the Lord said in Jeremiah, they shall fight against thee, but they shall what? They shall be destroyed. Because we're that wall, that defense city. It says, serving the Lord with all humility of mind and with many tears and temptations, which befell me by the lying in wait of the Jews. So they lie in wait, you see? Like a damn serpent or a wolf. And when you go to see that precept, right? Proverbs 14 and 7, it says, go from the presence of a foolish man, when thou perceivest not in him the lips of knowledge. So when we realize, when guys really reveal themselves and show who they really are, then what we do is, we're not with the many. We're not with the legions, like a lot of you guys. We're with the few. And once you reveal yourself that you're about the multitude and you're for the many, then guess what? That's when you get cast out. You get cast out. You see? We go from the presence of a foolish man, right? We get the hell out of there. We get our Dodge way. And we're not on the time of going back and forth. All right? You ask us a question, we'll answer it, and then we see that you're not coming in a sincere spirit, a humble spirit. You're coming in a pride, haughty spirit. just doting about of foolish questions and of strifes and contentions, hey man, we just leave it at that. We mute you out, we just unfollow, or just, you know, hey, go your way, man. Because we're walking in the right way. We're in the straight gate. You guys want the broad gate to be right, but it's not right. It's not right at all. You see? The wisdom of the prudent is to understand his way, but the folly of fools is deceit. Fools make a mark at sin. That's why you mock at us when we say don't call Esau E. Because you're the foolish virgins, and you're those mockers, the Lord said, that would come in the last days. But among the righteous there is favor, right? And the Lord said unto Moses and Aaron and those that were really following the Lord in the Spirit to not touch nothing of Abraham and Dathan and Korah. You know, don't touch anything of theirs. Don't take of the accursed thing. You see? Don't care about their fame. Don't care about their clout. You see? Proverbs 24:1. Be not thou envious against evil men, neither desire to be with them. We don't desire to be with you, man. You see? I'd rather be alone and in the spirit than amongst hundreds of men that are worldly and get destroyed with them. And that's what you have to really consider of what's happening. It says, for their hearts study destruction, and their lips talk of mischief. Through wisdom is an house builded, and by understanding it is established. And by knowledge shall the chambers be filled with all precious and pleasant riches. And riches aren't coming to a nigger. And a lot of you guys are niggers, man. You're still niggers. You haven't put off that old man. You see? Riches are not coming to a niggard. So what do you think a nigger is going to do with riches? He's going to spoil them. He's going to waste it. And that's what you foolish virgins have done. You've wasted your oil. And you have no more. And your candle is going out. A lot of you guys, it's already went out, you see? And now you're just stumbling all in the darkness, man. Not knowing what you're stumbling over, not knowing what's going on. And it's a gross darkness, man. It's sick. This plague is sick, man. A lot of you guys, man, and Korah, Dathan, and Abraham is symbolic of certain men that came against us. And it's very well known who it is in Israel. You know, Yahushua wasn't saying names, oh, it's this guy, that guy, over and over again. All he had to do was say, won't you Pharisees and scribes? And he laid down the characteristics. He didn't have to say their name. Because why? Their name wasn't going to be renowned. And the name wasn't going to be written in the book of life. You see? Psalm 34:21. Evil shall slay the wicked, and they that hate the righteous shall be desolate. Let's get that word for desolate. There's a Hebrew word, asham, meaning, it means what? Offend, guilty, trespass, to do wrong, to become guilty, to suffer punishment, acknowledge offense. So a lot of you guys, you're guilty, man. You're failing in your duty. You're guilty, right? And we're just telling you the judgment that's about to come to you. The Lord redeemeth the soul of his servants, and none of them that trust in him shall be desolate, right? So you have to trust in the Lord. And what the Lord say about you trusting in man? If you trust in man or an elder or a brother in your camp, you are cursed. The scriptures say it, man. Fuck what man says. I don't care who it is. Don't have no respect to person. Don't allow any reverence of any mighty man cause you to fall, like it says in Sirach. But a lot of guys are allowing that, man. Psalm 94:23, and he shall bring upon them their own iniquity and shall cut them off in their own wickedness. Yeah, the Lord, our power, shall cut them off, you see? And a lot of guys are coming in a weak, deceitful, sottish spirit, man. Very weak, very carnal, very disrespectful, and see, the Lord said, let's go to Matthew 11. And we're blessed because we're not offended at anything that is in the word. We're not offended at anything. Matthew 11:6. And blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended in me. Right? So a lot of guys, they are offended and they're cursed. Because there's only one and two things. It's either you're blessed or you're cursed of the Lord. There's no middle ground with the Lord. A lot of you guys, you would love it if there was a middle ground. Because that's where you're standing on. You're standing in the middle. Psalms 89 and verse 23, and I will beat down his foes before his face and plague them that hate him. So all you that hate the house of David and those that are of the Lord's beloved, you are plagued. You hate the righteous. You hate those that are really showing you true love, because we're rebuking you in the gate. We're really rebuking in the gate. Other guys are in the forest. A lot of you guys are in the fucking forest still. You see? Still haven't come out the closet. And I will beat down his foes before his face. That's what's happening. We see you guys being beat before our face, man. Brought low. It says, and plague them that hate him. You see? And when you read Numbers 16, also in other chapters of Numbers, there was all kind of different plagues. You see? Because of men being famous and exalted and eating too much. You see? Getting too big for their britches, so to say. But my faithfulness and my mercy shall be with him, and in my name shall his horn be exalted. Right? So in the Lord's name, our horn, our power is being exalted. Because we're praising Yahweh B'Shem Shai. We're exalting his name. You see? And we're serving him in sincerity and truth. A lot of you guys, you're not. You're really ashamed of Yahweh Shai and the gospel. That's why you come against us. And you can't hide it anymore. You can't hold it in anymore. No one can hold it in anymore. If you're a spirit of righteous, you're going to be showing forth righteousness. And if you're a spirit of wicked, your spirit's going to show forth. A tree shall be known by the fruits of his labor. 1 Samuel 19:4. And Jonathan spake good of David unto Saul his father, and said unto him, let not the king sin against his servant, against David, because he hath not sinned against thee, and because his works have been to thee ward very good. You see? And just like us, man, our works have been very good. But see, a lot of guys are evil, and they speak evil of our good. They turn everything upside down because they're fucking upside down, man. For he put his life in his hand. For he did put his life in his hand and slew the Philistine, and Yahweh wrought great salvation for all Israel. Thou sawest it and didst rejoice. Wherefore, when wilt thou sin against innocent blood to slay David without a cause? And Saul hearkened unto the voice of Jonathan, and Saul sware, as the Lord liveth, he shall not be slain. You see, but Saul, he couldn't really fight it off, you know. Even when David would play the harp, that evil spirit was on Saul until he was destroyed. And that's what we see with a lot of our people in this truth that know who they are, that know they're Israel. But see, we're not in the time of the light things. We're in the time of the weightier matters. We're in the time of heavy things, heavy prophecies, man. Luke 19 in verse 13. And he called his 10 servants and delivered them 10 pounds and said unto them, occupy till I come. And many, they're not really occupying until the Lord comes. Because when you go into word occupation, it's something that you're like you'll have a hotel and you'll be like, it'll say occupied, you know, don't come back later. I mean, it's being used. A lot of you guys, you're not using your talents. You're not using your weights. You know, you're not really exercising the spirit and getting into the spirit. You're see, and that's what these false apostles and all these camps, GMS include. See, just because you have GMS, are you part of the elect? No, that's not the case, man. The Lord said in Job, great men are not always wise. Neither do their age always understand. You see, certain men have failed them, man. They've gotten weak because of the flesh. They've been overcome with wine in this world, man. And that's the truth. That's real. All right. And a lot of guys, they say, oh, don't get deep. Well, it's because they're shallow and they want you to remain shallow and not go all the way for the Lord. And then all of a sudden, you're no longer defending the gospel. You're defending yourself, your flesh, other men that you don't even know. You see, you're defending men. And then you're coming up against men that actually have the gospel, like me and the brother did this is the last garrison of Yahushua, which it is. And you have a few other brothers out there, you know, because the elect is out there, the warriors. It says, but his citizens hated him and sent a message after him, saying, we will not have this man to reign over us. So they really don't want Yahushua to rule over them, man. They want man to. They want those same elders and chief priests that slew and crucified and killed Yahushua and murdered the prophets to rule over them. And the Lord's giving them up to that. Here, go ahead. He that's filthy, be filthy still. If you want to have a carnal men be over you, let them be over you. You see, if you want to stay on one level in the spirit, then stay stagnant, man. John 12:42, and nevertheless among the chief rulers also many believed on him, but because of the Pharisees, they did not confess him. We're going to get that word for confess, because it's more than just saying the name of the Lord and saying that you know it. You see, it's actually meaning it, man, meaning what you say. A lot of guys, you don't mean it, man. It says, lest they should be put out of the synagogue. All you guys care is about being in the club. You want to be with everybody. You see, that's not where the spirit has gone rogue, man. It's gone with a few men that's left. The Lord said in Isaiah 24, because the curse has devoured the earth, there's only few men left. It says, for they love the praise of men more than the praise of power. You see? Now let's get that word for confess.
Strong's G 3670. Homologeo.
Look at that. It says to say the same thing as another. And that's what we're doing. We're saying the same thing of Yahushai. It said, and just as they denied Yahushai, they rejected his word, they rejected the baptism, they hated him, they were seeking to destroy him all different times and aspects. Same thing they do to us. See? To say the same thing as another, to agree with, to declare, to profess, speak out freely. A lot of guys, you're not speaking out freely. You know, the wolf got your tongue. It says to profess oneself the worshiper of one. You see, so we know what we worshiping, man. But a lot of guys, you're confused because you're evil. Evil men don't what? Evil men don't understand a judgment. And that word confess means to admit and own up. You see, admit or state that one has committed a crime or is in a fault in some way, which that's what we also are doing as well in confessing the Lord, which we confess our faults one to another. You know, which we're all as filthy rags. None of us is perfect. But when it comes to the word and the doctrine and the teaching, that's where the elect are perfect, because they haven't been corrupted and they're not perverting the gospel. They're keeping it pure and whole and full. You see? That's why it says, say, in whose spirit, in their spirit is found no guile. So what's being basically manifested is that the many has been swallowed up of this world. The plague has gotten them. And it's just a downward slope from here with a lot of guys. As Scripture saying in Timothy, the wicked shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. And we're in the time now as well of you're not going to be able to save him that is destroyed for lack of knowledge. You're not going to be able to destroy. See, and that's why we're not really in a time of teaching. We're in a time of basically showing and telling. You know, if you haven't gathered anything from a youth up, how will you get something in your age when you get older? You see, that's why the Lord said you have to humble yourself as a little child. Well, they weren't willing to do that because they were so old in their wickedness, man. They were always lukewarm for so long, you know, so they couldn't receive that. 2 Ezra 7:45, then shall no man be able to save him that is destroyed. Like you have that song, what did it say? It says, don't save her, she doesn't want to be saved. Well, a lot of you foolish virgins, a lot of you guys, you know, this word isn't really for you, man. The salvation, this word is really, a lot of guys, they gravitate towards this truth because the blood of Yahushai they're guilty of. So they need to be spoken against. They need to be rebuked to and told woe to. It says, then shall no man be able to save him that is destroyed, nor to oppress him that gotten the victory. You see, so everything's basically set in stone right now. And whatever side you're on, man, you know, the Lord has you there for a reason. Whether it's to destroy you, right? Or to condemn you, or it's to justify you and save you. You see? Because by your words, you're going to be justified, and by your words, you're going to be condemned. A lot of guys, you're not confessing the Lord wholeheartedly, man. You're not speaking the same things he said. A lot of guys, you don't bring out Matthew 23. You don't bring out Luke 11. You don't bring out number 16. You don't bring out Revelation 22 where it says don't add or subtract from the scriptures, but you go about to establish your own righteousness. See? And you cannot lay any other foundation than which has been laid, which is Yahushai. How he laid down his life and how he came and left. There's only one way out. And all you double-minded men, you're destroyed. The Lord's just going to keep on showing More and more examples of it. And it's just more wood for the fire. It's just more wood for the fire, man. You see? Jeremiah 1:19. They shall fight against thee. See, so they don't have that. They don't come with their little mortal thoughts and, you know, try to fight. But they shall not prevail against thee, for I am with thee, to saith the Lord, to deliver thee. Right? And the Lord said, though many shall be created, only a few shall be delivered and saved. All praises, glory, honor, and fear. Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Kakodash, destruction and the demise, and the waxing of worse and worse of all you anti-Yahushais and Pharisees and scribes. Peace, blessing, and strength, and power to the Lord's bride and his chosen.